Alright, in this video we're going to go over some common phoneme segmentation, fluency, scoring, as well as some rare occurrences in the scoring as well. So if the student completely segments the phoneme at the word, or at the individual phoneme level, in this example they say f, ul, a, g, we underline each of those lines. S, it, t, we underline each of those. They get 4 and then 3. In this next one, you're going to see that the student repeats. They say fla and then ag, si and then it, full, a, la, ga. So in this case, they're going to score 2 in this one here. They're going to get 2 in that first one right here. They're scoring that 2 points because they're getting those. They got 2 segments there. Or they broke the word into 2 parts, excuse me, and then sit and then flag, they're getting 4 there because they went in and said f, ul, and then ag, and then they went la. So you can see that that's worked in there. In this example, the student is going to be, they say f for flag, so we only underline 1 there. So, and then this next one, they say fla, so then they get that, and then g, so then they get 2 sounds there, and then they say s, it, so it's 2 sounds there. And you can see how we underline to denote the way that they had shared their response. The next one, we're dealing with the schwa sounds. It's added to a sound. They're not counted as errors. If a student consistently adds a schwa sound, just make a note of it. So they say fa, la, a, g. And in that case, they're adding that schwa sound. We're going to give them full credit for all those. And then the same thing for that next one. And if a student elongates the sound, so they just stretch those out, flag is their response, you get 4. Anytime a student adds in sounds, they're disregarded and they don't affect the scoring. So if they say f, ul, a, g, s, disregarded, they're going to get 4. Obviously, you want to make notes of this if they're doing that. Same thing's true if they insert it inside of like sp, it. That p does not count there. They're not getting this either though on the scoring portion of it. If they create that blend on there. But if they say sp, it, they're going to get the s. You're going to omit the p for the scoring purposes on that one. And then obviously students dialect like all other ones with the scoring. They say f, w, ag. So if they can't have pronunciation or dialect issues, you're going to give it to them. D, is for this. That also would be a 3-point answer. If the student gives, the student says a sound segment and then repeats the entire word, underline the response. Underline the correspondence response, so the letters that they say, and then circle the word in that example, like you can see here. The student said flag, and so then we'd circle it because they just said the whole thing. They said sit, but here they said flag, so they get 1 point because they got that initial sound for flag. If a student starts to spell and they say F, L for flag, and then they say f, ul, ag, you're going to mark with that self-correct if you happen to make a slash. If not, then you're just going to mark it as known there. Then you're going to put that 4 there. Same thing. If they say s, a, and then they self-correct that and say it, you're going to mark that self-correct. And then if they say full for f, ul, ag, you're going to underline both of them there. Just so that's denoted, because they first said full, so you'd have the underline once, so it's the full and then full underneath it. You want to be able to see both of those marks so you know that they first initially put the blends together, then they broke it. Alright, in this example you have the sound segments judged in its entirety to be correct or incorrect. So for example, you have the student says full app. Now the for the g, we're marking that wrong, and this one says if t, so there is no if sound in the middle of sit, so we're going to mark that one wrong. Then the student says f, ol, g, and they let off the a. You can see we leave it, and then they got the 3. They say st, and they leave out the I, so then we're going to mark it as a 2. Here is a complete scoring look. As you see, the student went b, oat, got 3 out of 3, 3 out of 3, or 2 out of 3, excuse me, so on and so forth through there. The bracket there marks where they stopped, and you can see when they came to this word, they said groups. They did not segment that out. They just said groups, so that's why it's circled.